Hello and welcome to my college apartment. Yes, I did paint this. Yes, I did make this shelf. Now let's move along, shall we? This video is an interview between a classroom of children and the Bakineers on Netflix's Baking Impossible, because I'm assuming you probably know I was on the show. If you haven't seen it, I invite you to watch it. I really did enjoy it, and I know I sound biased because I am, but I'm also being very honest, and I said that I actually enjoyed it. This video, it's a lot longer because it was like a whole interview, and I'm making this intro just in case. We might not be able to make this public, so if you are seeing this and the video is private, then enjoy this intro. Otherwise, enjoy the interview and thanks for watching.
All right, awesome. We can hear you guys well. Can you guys hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, are we ready to get started? Yeah? Hey,
Yes.
Come see Tatum.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us virtually today. We are grade 4, 5, 7, and 8 students from the Kazaisegan, a francophone school on the unceded territory of the Squamish First Nations people about an hour north of Vancouver, BC, Canada. Thank you.
Before we get started, we were wondering if you could tell us where you are located and what you are doing when you're not on Netflix.
Okay. I guess I'll start. My name is Hannah. I live right now I'm in Statesboro, Georgia, which is like a really teeny tiny town in the state of Georgia. That's where I go to college. So when I'm not on Netflix, I'm taking classes. I'm studying mechanical engineering at Georgia Southern University. I co-run a YouTube channel with my dad where I make things. I do stuff with electronics. I do stuff with woodworking. We like combine the two. And I work for the STEM department of Georgia Southern, which helps figure out how children learn like around the world and better implement that into our College of Education. So I make like science experiment kits and like different things to show science.
Should we fire? Do you want to, whoever finishes, do you want to fire it over to somebody else? And then we can like pass
sure. Well, why don't you go, Andrew?
Cool. Okay, I'll jump in. So I'm Andrew. I'm based, I think I'm probably the furthest away from all of you at the moment. So I'm in Derby, which is a city right in the middle of England in the UK. So it's evening here at the moment. And when I'm not on Netflix, which is most of the time, to be honest, I imagine like most of us, I am an aerospace engineer. So, and I do a bit of baking as well. So 4 days a week, I'm an aerospace engineer, which means I work on aircraft of the future. And designing things that are going to fly things around the world, fly people around the world in the future. And that is what I love doing. So that's me. And I'm going to pass, I'm just going around on my screen. I'm going to pass to Rodolfo, who's below me on my screen.
Thank you very much. My name is Rodolfo. I'm from Brazil, but I'm living in New York City for 17 years already. When I'm not on Netflix making cakes, I'm at my studio making cakes. So that's my life. That's what I do, what I love to do, creating like crazy stuff for the customers. And now I'm gonna pass to Edwin.
Hello, this is really wonderful. It's really great to meet you all. My name is Edwin. I am an electrical engineer. So when I'm not on Netflix, currently I'm working on CRISPR-based genetic treatments for genetic diseases and cancer. Previous to this, I also designed life support systems for submarines and the engine control computers for Falcon 9 at SpaceX. And Randy, take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name's Randy, and when I am not on Netflix baking and going nuts, I am baking as well for my clients, and I just do a lot of that. And it's so nice to see everybody in a classroom. I used to be a teacher many years ago, so it's so nice to have you interested in what we do and how we do things. And it's really a lot of fun, and we actually keep learning a lot as we do what we do. and it's just a lot of fun. So we're all looking forward to questions from all of you. And
Where
now,
are you located,
I guess-
Randy?
what was that?
Where are you located?
Oh, sorry, where I'm located. I am right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you know where that is, in the United States. And I guess I should pass you along to Brandi.
Like Randy, but with a B and both with an I. Hi, my name is Brandi. I am in the state of Kentucky in the city of Lexington. And when I'm not baking on Netflix, I have a custom bake shop where I bake custom products for promotional, like corporate events. People will order custom products for me to hand out as giveaway items. And I also do a lot of custom cakes and build a lot of structures. And I also love to build my own Halloween props, which is one of the things that got me cast on the show, was my experience with animatronics. I love to tinker and build things using different types of motors and motion. And I guess, am I the last one on here, or is there anyone else to pass to? No, I think that's it. I think that's it, Hannah. I think that's all of us here.
Well, and I forgot to mention where I'm from. I'm here in San Jose, California.
All right, Ocean has a question for you here.
How did you end up on Bacon Impossible?
Andrew found us somehow.
Yeah. I got an email from my YouTube channel email, and I thought it was a scam at first. And then the person who sent it had like an IMDb page, and I was like, oh, this is real. And then there's a whole like months of casting calls and like Zoom calls and Skype and like all this stuff, and it picked us. A fun fact, I didn't know it was Netflix until I got hired. They just kind of mentioned it as like an aside and was like, yeah, and like Netflix is really generous. And I was like, excuse me, can you repeat yourself? I did not hear you correctly. So it worked out.
They told me, they said, I was like, who's this show for? And they said it's for a major streaming service, and it's probably the one you're thinking about. That's how I figured out that it was a Netflix. They didn't tell me
that's what they told me too.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Didn't tell me anything.
Andrew,
They
did you
wouldn't
have
tell
a
me
part
at
in
all.
Really?
Actually, this next question might just be for Andrew and might link into what we just said.
Hi, my name is Emily, and my question is, how did you come up with an idea to put a baker and an engineer together, and why?
That's a great question. Well, so to answer the kind of, I guess, the first part of that, so I kind of described the kind of people we were looking for, but then wasn't involved in the casting process because I knew I was going to be a judge and I wanted to be very objective. So I let the Netflix team do that, and then that's how we ended up with our lovely Bakineers that you can see here. But I was on a show called The Great British Bake Off, or The Great British Baking Show, back in 2016. And when I was on that, I did a few kind of engineered desserts as part of that. And it got me thinking that there was something interesting there about the combination. So I did a few live shows at science festivals over here in the UK and Ireland, where I used baking to explain some of the engineering I work with day to day. And then after that started to pick up a little bit, it got the attention of some producers over in the United States who I was able to fly over and meet and kind of describe the idea. And at some point, somebody said, rather than trying to find all these individual people who are like you, why don't we put together people who are professionals in each, and then they can form these teams. So that's how the idea came about. I loved it because then we could find really talented bakers, really talented engineers, and then they would have to work together and learn from one another, which is what we did in the end. And it was terrific. And I've just seen Shanice is joining as well. Hello, Shanice.
Hello, Shanice.
Hi, Shanice.
Can you hear us, Shanice?
No, it says she's still muted.
Oh.
There she is.
Yeah, we've got you.
Yay!
So maybe we can, Hi, Shanice. We had an initial question, which was, what do you do when you're not on Netflix, and where are you right now? So if you want to answer that one, and then we'll go on to the next question.
Great, yes. When I'm not on Netflix, I'm working. So I'm actually at work right now, taking a step away. I'm a distribution engineer. I work on the power lines, that service electricity to your house and to all the buildings. I like to work out and I like to eat, so that works out for me very well so that I stay healthy. And I'm in Georgia. Yeah. There you go. I think I answered all the questions, right? Okay, cool.
Hi, my name is Leo. Can you refer to recipe books and internet while doing the show?
Were we allowed to? Not really.
Yeah. Oh.
No, we were given a limited amount of time to figure things out and do our research, but we kind of had to have all of our recipes in our heads to figure out. We could have some notes we could refer to, but not really. We really had to know what we were doing. And we all worked really well together. So we came up with some fabulous things.
Hi, my name is Sophie. And how do you get the ingredients and tools that you need, like screwdrivers and saws and other baking stuff?
Oh, that's a good question.
So we had a pantry behind the cameras that you can't really see. Sometimes you see it in the shots, but we had a pantry that we could just walk back and grab things from. And then if there was something specific that we needed, we were allowed to ask for things and they would get us what we needed most of the time. Sometimes what we needed wasn't available and we would have to pivot and change. But for the most part, production was really good about getting what we needed.
And can I just say as well,
like a machine shop. Oh, never mind.
No, I was going to say, all of these guys you can see here, they all got so many steps in when we were on the set. There was people, I'm sure if you've watched it, you'll see people running around in the background all the time, going on the bakers to one side, all the engineers running to the other. There was a lot of running involved. I was lucky I got to sit down, but yeah, these guys had to do a lot of running around to get all those ingredients and use all the tools.
There was also like a machine shop that had like saws, screwdrivers, anything that like you would need to build like the engineering structural part, which is very, very useful.
Okay, hi, I'm Nelson, and sometimes teams didn't really test the creation. Why and how important is testing?
Hey, Shanice. Go ahead, Edwin.
I would love to take this one. Testing is so important. I mean, I think you heard me say on the show, like, I think failure is our greatest teacher. And in engineering, especially, a lot of times you test many, many times before you come up with a final solution. And one of the constraints of the show is that you really only get to do the real stress test only once. And that added a lot of challenge to it. But I will say that in Bakineering and in real life engineering, testing is absolutely important, and you should not be afraid to fail, because testing, if you haven't tested something, you don't actually know that it works. And so submitting things to test is what gives you real confidence that your solution is going to work.
Hi, my name is Anna, and my question is, what happens when your creation doesn't work?
Oh, have you watched the show?
When it doesn't work, we cry a lot.
Right, we cry. Well, I know with baking, when things don't work out, we just, as Brandi had mentioned before, we pivot, we figure something else out. We have different materials we work with, we try new things, we get really creative. And usually during that process, during experimentation, we find out new things, new ways that these materials and elements that we're using can be applied in different manners. And it really pushes us to think outside of our comfort zone so we can come up with really cool creations. And I think that was really the heart of this show, was really to push us all to think about food and what we use on a daily basis in our baking jobs, and how do we use it to the next level and use it in a way that had never been used before. So I think this whole show is a great testament to experimenting and having fun with what you're doing, just to learn new aspects of it.
Hi, my name is Annabelle. How do you feel when judges are giving you their criticize?
I should hide for this bit. I'm going to hide under the table.
I guess I'll go for this one. I think, it's like you have to keep an open mind, nobody is a pro at anything you do for the first time. I'm sure for the first time you hopped on your bike, you didn't know how to immediately ride your bike, So you have to be willing to fall down and learn and listen and get back up and try again. And the judges, they are professionals in their field. They know a lot more than we know, so when they tell you something, well, you're smarter than I am. So like when you get feedback on something, just listen, keep an open mind, be willing to learn. And like Edwin said, fail and just do better next time.
I want to add to this as well. You can't take it personally because it's not a personal attack. It's about the thing that you made, whether it worked or whether it didn't work. And they're just evaluating how it performed in the stress test. It is not necessarily like, if your device failed, that doesn't mean that you're dumb or that you don't know what you're doing. It means that the thing failed and that you have to go through and figure out what failed. So if you are to build it again or build it another time, you don't make the same mistakes. Failure is your best teacher. Edwin said it best.
I just want to add that I think it's pretty.
Sorry, go ahead, Edwin.
I just think it's really cool that people who are so smart and so important care enough about what we're doing to tell us what they think, right? A lot of times when someone gives you criticism, they're trying to help you. And especially when it's someone who's an expert in your field, it means that what you're doing is important enough to them for them to tell you what they think about it. And that's pretty cool.
And can I put a point as well? In criticism, sometimes it's really good because it's going to push you hard to try something that you never tried before. And I think this is really good because you cannot give up if someone says something to you. You're just going to push yourself to do better next time.
Thank you. I just want to let you know that that extra person there is one of our students who's on holidays who wanted to join in. So she's joining in online if you're wondering what was going on there.
Hi, my name is Alex, and I have a question that's more so directed to Andrew. And that's, how do you feel when you have to eliminate a person or a team?
That is a great question, but a tough question. I hated it. If we could have kept everybody all the way through, I would have loved to do it, but it was inherently part of the show. Unfortunately, I had the job, I think, for the first few episodes of announcing who was going home, and it was really tough because we were asking everybody you can see here to do things that nobody had done before. So it wasn't as if they were turning up to do their day job. We were kind of pushing and stretching them in an unfamiliar environment. And I have to say, they were all incredibly gracious and good sports. And we had some wonderful people on the show that made it a little bit easier because I had the unpleasant job of doing it. But no, I didn't like doing it. And I wish, I didn't know that Edwin, for instance, that you worked with SpaceX before. I wish we could have talked about that on the show. So I just wanted to chat to everybody. And it's great we get to kind of hang out a bit now and get to know each other a bit better after the show. But they're a wonderful bunch, very proud of them all.
Hi, my name's Allie, and I was wondering what happens to all the food afterwards, because I saw that there was a lot of food that wasn't being eaten. I was just wondering.
We have a lot of people backstage, and I know they enjoy a lot of the sweets that we did backstage. And I remember everybody trying like everything. That was great.
Hi, my name is Aiden. What was your favorite challenge?
Did you guys hear that? Yeah.
I guess
so how many episodes have they seen? Have they seen the entire show, or?
It depends on the student. Some have seen all, some of them haven't. We did talk about how there would be some spoilers probably. As long as we don't know who won, we're okay with you talking about what challenges you like.
Okay.
I really like the boat, but I think it's because I'm biased. So the boat was a lot of fun for me. Episode 1, yeah.
I really liked robots, mostly from the team element of it, where everybody like was cheering everyone on. Because if you look in the background of literally any of the stress tests, you will see everybody is cheering everybody on. But like that really became a thing with robots, and even like if like your name got called to go up, everyone's like, yeah, you got it, you go. Like just like that camaraderie really started there, and that meant a lot to me.
I have to say my favorite was the miniature golf. I thought we all had so much fun doing that one. It was a big build for all of us, but we really got to be really creative and come up with some interesting things. And that's where I got to make my Fred the Turtle, and he was adorable. And it was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one.
What do you think was what was your best creation or the best creation out in the entire show?
The raspberry dress.
Yeah. I beg to differ. I have to respectfully disagree with you, Hannah. Flapping edible butterflies for me personally, but the raspberry dress was gorgeous.
Okay, that's your favorite.
And we clipped a branch to serve the dessert. So come on.
Okay.
I'm kidding. You know I love you. It was amazing. The raspberry dress was cool. It was cool.
Does anyone else want to answer that question?
I can't answer that one, so I was going to leave it to the other bakers and engineers if they wanted to say. I can't pick.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ella, and this is a question for Rodolfo. What was the most difficult challenge?
So I think for me and Sarah, the most difficult one, I think was the boat one, because we never, I didn't know Sarah. So it's very, very difficult to work with someone that you never met before, even that we connected really well, but you need to understand the person that you work with. Respect like some moments that we had during the show. And I think the boat was the most difficult one for us.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my name is Anouk, and my question is, if you could invent a challenge, what would it be?
Roller coaster for sure.
Hold on, let me get my pen here. I need to write some of these down.
Yeah, roller coaster is a good one.
We were really convinced that the show would try to make something fly.
Yeah, I agree. For the next, so maybe the next year you don't do a boat, you do a submarine. That could be one. I don't know how, but
a submarine.
It's gonna be easier.
In the first episode,
right?
I'm pretty sure some of us did build submarines for the first episode.
They did.
Hi, my name is Angeline, and my question is, are you still friends with your partner?
Can I answer that?
Absolutely. We have a Zoom date later today, actually.
Yes, we all connected so well with everybody. I think we really bonded very quickly, all of us, because we all had to work very closely together, and we really became a family, all of us, and we truly care for each other. It was a wonderful experience that way.
Andrew, can I ask you, Andrew, did you guys anticipate us all getting along that well and like just bonding that quickly, or did you all? What did you think would happen?
I was hoping that you'd all you know, bond together, because having been on the other side of it in Bake Off, where you're in a kind of quite a stressful environment and everybody is in the same boat, you get to know people really well, and it's long filming days. Like, what you don't see in the final neatly packaged episode is that, you know, everybody was there for, what was it, you know, 15 odd days sometimes, you know, longer than that. It was really long days, so everybody was very tired, but it means you get to know people really well. So it was lovely to see you guys clearly had such great rapport, and seeing everybody genuinely cheering for other people when they were going for the stress test is kind of the spirit of the show. You know, we didn't want it to be nasty. We wanted it to be supportive, competitive, challenging. And I think everybody delivered on that. So you were all great sports.
Awesome. It looks like Sienna, our friend who's joining from home, has a question. Sienna?
Yeah, I was just wondering how you got to that point in your life where you knew what you wanted to do.
Oh.
I'm not there.
Me either.
Yeah, we're all still looking. And we're all still. For me, actually, I was a teacher for many years, and then I was in the financial field because when my kids were little, it was very difficult to bake and be creative and really spend that much time. And then as my kids got older, I missed that creative side of me. So I was really able to dive back into things when my older daughter was 13 years old, and we had a bat mitzvah for her, which is a very momentous religious celebration. And I made her cake, and I came out of my so-called retirement. And it's been a little over 10 years since I've been doing that. And I think I found myself at age 37. So it took a long time to get to this point, but it was well worth it. And it was a wonderful journey. And I got to meet all of these fabulous people.
Thank you.
And does anyone else want to answer that question?
Well, I'll say that I came upon a lot of adventures in my life just by saying yes to my friends. That I had friends and roommates who were like, hey, I'm doing this really interesting thing. Do you want to try it? And just saying like, oh, what's the worst that could happen? And getting dragged into, you know, building spacecraft or submarines. Or like the whole submarine thing started because a friend of mine was like, let's build a submarine in our garage. And I said, that sounds like a terrible idea. Let's do it. So yeah, staying curious, I think, is a really, really important thing for finding what you want. And you can find out what you want several times. You can even change your mind. But I think the important thing is to stay curious. And for me personally, engineering is very exciting because I love to see things work. Like when everything comes together and everything works and all the gears mesh and they turn, that's really exciting to me.
I also wanted to add one thing as well. I don't really think you have to pick one. I think you can do a few different things, you know? So I love engineering, yes. I love mathematics, so I study mathematics as well. I like to cook. I cook all the time in my free time. I like to kickbox, so I do that as well. So I think it's important to also keep in mind that, like, yes, you can pick to do one thing, I guess, for work or as a career, but you can also do the things that you love to do on the side as well and make time for that.
I want to add something. It's never too late to start something that you love. Just that, because I started my professional baking, I was 27. So I was working a web developer before, and I thought I had a career, but then I found something that I loved when I was 27.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Noah, and my question is, why do the contestants wear the same clothes every day, but not the judges?
They finally cornered us with this question.
Right. Hey, Andrew, can you answer that for us? Because I don't know if we're really sure why.
I would love to, because I tell you what, I am sick of seeing that question on Twitter. It is a great question, though. It is a great question, and it's one that lots of people are asking, and I genuinely have no idea, because if you'll have noticed, all us judges, we got to change clothes all the time, whereas our Bakineers, they had to wear the same thing. Now, as far as I'm aware, that means when they're taking hundreds of hours of footage together and cutting them down into a program, it's easier if everybody's wearing the same thing across multiple days, or when they put out the trailer for the series and they want to show lots of things in quick succession, they don't want to necessarily give away who went out on what weeks. So having everybody in the same clothes makes that easier. And it might have been something as simple as that as to why everybody had to choose one outfit and run with it. But I didn't really realize at the time, because we're obviously filming over a long period. But yeah, it is quite odd, and I'm not quite sure. That's the answer.
Can I chime in too? Because I had several in-depth long conversations with some of the producers about this because I was like, why are we wearing the same clothes? This is so weird. And another thing too was not only editing purposes, but COVID. So you never really knew how long you were going to be there. So, you know, budgeting wise, having all those teams buy outfits for every single episode would have been expensive. But while we were there, we did not have, you know, we were in a bubble because the production was so large. If one person would have got COVID, it would have shut the entire thing down. So running out to buy an outfit because you didn't go home that episode would have just been, it would have just up the ante for risking COVID was part of another reason too, was that it was just easier if we all just had, we look at it as a uniform, basically.
Oh, and also I will say that the producers were wonderful with getting our clothes dry cleaned and cleaned as often as we needed them. And they dry cleaned our aprons after every day, every episode. They were really good about it. So we were not wearing the same dirty clothes day in and day out, for sure.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Juliet, and my question is, will there be a second season or Halloween or Christmas specials?
Andrew.
Andrew.
I mean, I really hope so. It all depends. If you love it, tell your friends and family to watch it. That's, that's what I would say. I have no idea at this point. It all comes down to the statistics, basically how many people watch it, how many people watch it all the way through to the end. So what I will say is, if you do start it, the best way you can help us to make a second one is to watch it right the way through till the end of the series. But we certainly have enough ideas for a second series. And I now have a great bunch of folks who I can ask for ideas if we do need to do a second series. I've got some new Bakineering experts to consult with. So it would be a lot easier. I have lots of other ears and ideas. And maybe we could even drag some of them back kicking and screaming into the studio, who knows?
Maybe some guest judges. So the students here work a lot with the design thinking principles, and they have been working with robotics and coding. And I just wanted to know, I think one of our biggest challenges is through the prototyping phase and testing. And I was wondering if you had any feedback or advice for our students.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Try things early. Like, even if you have the tiniest bit of an idea, try to find the smallest part of it that you can make work, right? Even if it's just like turning on a light or spinning a motor, right? Like, you have a robot, it's got 6 motors in it. Who cares? Just get the first one moving. And the sooner you can test something, the sooner you can try something, the easier things will be for you. And just try to make it the smallest little bit you can and keep testing, keep trying.
And with robotics specifically, someone has done it and someone has documented it. Google it. Try as many like strange phrases as you can find. Because the thing with people who make robots, especially robots, they're really frustrating because like you think it should work one way and then it either doesn't work or it works in a way you never anticipated. Google it. See what someone else has done, even if they're using a completely different program. If you can figure out what they did, like what steps they took to get to where they are, then you can use that in your process as well.
Yep, and definitely help each other out, because somebody else around you might be having the exact same problem and might have found a solution to it.
My very small piece of advice would just be not to get discouraged, you know, because you could be working on coding or in robotics and just you have that one letter or that one, like, you know, slash or hyphen or whatever that's in your code or piece of material, and it's why your stuff isn't working. You know, don't get discouraged if it doesn't work. Slow down, like, you know, for another pair of eyes, have someone else look at it. You know, don't take it personally if it doesn't work. You are still very smart. Test it, believe it or not. I know you're supposed to test it, you know, make sure it works. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board, that's okay. Don't get discouraged. It is challenging, just keep going.
Also take breaks. Sorry. Just take breaks, because you could get tunnel vision from working on the same issue for like an extended period of time, and all you can see is that issue. So take a break, do something else, watch TV, watch YouTube, or tinker with something, do something else entirely, and then go back to the problem. You might find a solution that you wouldn't have seen before.
I want to add something real quick. So something really important that I've learned over the years, which is that the very moment right before success often looks like failure. And we often think of success as like this chain of success, but it's really failure, success. And so if it feels like everything's going wrong, you might be at the moment just before it goes right. And it's Sarah. Hello.
I'm going to unmute to agree with you, Edwin, and I can tell what you guys are already talking about, and I love hearing that. And I just want to say hi to everyone and bonjour.
Sarah, would you like to tell us what you do outside of Netflix and where you are, please?
I would love to. I am in Boston, Massachusetts, and I've got a cat behind me, so if he gets distracting, we can get rid of him. That's Dante. But I'm in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm a lighting designer, and my background is in architectural engineering, so I took a lot of classes in structures and in plumbing and HVAC and mechanical engineering, but I focused in the electrical side and specifically in lighting design.
You're amazing, Sarah.
I think you're amazing.
So we've gone through all of the questions we had prepared already. We have a couple of students who are coming to see me about questions. So if you just give us a couple of minutes. Thank you. And maybe Sarah, while I'm chatting with these students, can you tell us what your favorite challenge was?
Ooh. My favorite one. Okay. I thought you were going to ask me which one I didn't like the most, which I'm also happy to answer. But my favorite challenge, as you could probably tell if you watched the show, was the one where we got to have the shake table and the earthquake test. And by the way, Andrew, I see you on here and I have a question because I saw somewhere on your bake shake table that there were higher levels than what we actually saw. And I have questions about maybe season 2. Are we going to see something even more shaky?
I hate to break it to you, Sarah, that was a bit of TV magic. So we took you all the way to level 5, but then I think for edit time, because I don't think many things happened on the in-between levels, level 2 and 4, it was just shown as 3. So yeah, there were 5 levels, and that was, but I'm sure, you know,
feel even better.
We can go bigger. We can go bigger. We can get even more destructive.
I think we need to triple the size of the shake table.
We would like to hear which one you disliked the most.
Well, I'm going to tell you, at the beginning, I disliked it. By the end, I really had enjoyed it. But I'll tell you, that robot challenge really got in my head because I've never done anything with robots before. And so when they told us we had to program a robot, I had a bit of a crisis in my brain about whether or not I would be able to do it. But eventually we got there. And eventually, I mean, if you watch, it's not like we've crossed the finish line, but we at least got it moving and it turned and stuff and we got the wheels turning, but it definitely took a little bit of mental resilience to get there.
We all had to learn so much on that show.
It's so true because none of us really do all of those things in our day-to-day lives. You know, I've certainly never been challenged to build anything that floats. So, you know, it was a really interesting set of things right away.
Although I have to add that when I deliver cakes, and sometimes I deliver cakes already stacked into tiers, those cakes go through a shake test all the time. all the time. And I've learned how to build my cakes where they are structurally sound.
I think I agree with Randy. The most stressful thing on a cake business is deliver a wedding cake, like 5-tier wedding cake. I live in New York City. It's very difficult to go through like the roads here. So it's yeah, that's it.
That is its own stress test.
You know, have you guys used any of the sort of anything differently mentally, baker people? You know, now that you are out of baconeering officially on TV, but have you used anything in your business, or, you know, added lights to anything that you wouldn't have added lights to before?
Yes
I'm a
and no.
bigger procrastinator, because my
Me
problem
too.
is used to I would bake on like Monday, Tuesday, buttercream on Wednesday, like, and now I'm like, 2 hours to this thing's due, no biggie. It's not even in the oven yet, you know?
Put a timer
Yes,
on.
that's exactly right. I say to myself,
It's ruined me.
If I can build an entire mini golf in 14 hours, I can knock out 3 wedding cakes in a day. It's all good.
Yeah.
Confidence booster.
Right. It definitely taught us a lot about time management. For sure.
Hi, my name is Charlotte, and I have a question. Did you have to be aware of any allergies on the competition to food?
That's a very good question. And I think I did ask that question because one of my desserts contained peanut butter. And I know there are a lot of allergies. And we were told that for this particular show, I don't think there was any allergies that we needed to be aware of. But if there were, we absolutely would have known about it.
Edwin has a buckwheat allergy.
Yep, and I had to watch out for that. But it was good. I communicated with my producers, I communicated with my teammate and with the 2 neighboring kitchens to make sure that we all were all aware of it, and I had no problems.
That's right, because doesn't the dead dough have buckwheat in it? And we had to actually, I think they moved one of the stations so you could be accommodated. So we did have an allergy. Good question.
Yeah, they swapped us with Cindy and Taylor. Remember, we were getting ready to start filming, and Edwin's like, "Oh, I kind of have this allergy," and so they had to stop and swap our stations so that we would not, because we were right next to Edwin and Sierra, and he couldn't even be that close to it. So, yeah.
It's generally considered rude to die on a baking show.
Awesome. Do you guys have any final words before we wrap up here for our students?
Ooh, can I go? Because I have to run to a meeting like in 10 seconds. Wonderful. So my biggest thing is just don't stop dreaming, you know. My biggest dream was to make it on Netflix. I had no clue how. I still can't believe it happened to me, but don't stop dreaming, work hard, be polite, don't give up, and stay in school, finish school, because you learn a lot. And have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for hopping on and asking us all your questions. I'm sure everyone else will have lovely questions to give you guys. And yeah, have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. That's not Palace, you know.
Thank you so much for answering our questions and sharing your experience with us. Our class loves being impossible, especially our teacher. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. Thank you.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Dorian.
Merci. Thank you so much for your wonderful questions.
Thank you. They
So
were
the bell is
adorable.
about to ring for lunch, so the students are gonna head out, but we really appreciate this. They're all coming to say bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
That was so good to talk to you.
Lovely bakers and engineers for joining.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I made
Have
it.
fun with your robots.
Oh, that was
Thanks,
great,
everyone.
guys.
Nice
That
job,
was really,
Hannah.
really fun. Really, really fun. I've got to dash off to another thing here, but it would be lovely to have like a proper catch up another time. It's great to see you all.
Absolutely.
We'll set up a
Yeah,
Zoom.
I
I
and
would
get in
love
touch.
that. Because
Yeah,
Andrew,
and
I have
thanks-
a lot of questions for you.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions for you as well. There's so much that I don't know about the other side too. I'm intrigued. There's so much that was
Right.
kept from me. Like I feel like I was shielded too. They were like the whole thing was designed to like
Oh,
separate
we
us.
have stories.
Okay,
Yes.
well, I want to pick this up maybe over like Zoom cocktails or something. Let's
Do
make
it.
it happen.
Okay.
Thanks for organising, Hannah. That was really lovely, actually. Talking
Oh,
to
of course.
the
This was so
thanks for coordinating.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My heart
Cool.
is
Have a wonderful
just
afternoon,
melting.
and we shall be in touch
Bye.
soon.
Okay,
Lots of love to
I'll
you.
leave
Bye.
for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you all so much for coming to this. I saw her, she tweeted that she was gonna put Baking Impossible in her school's newsletter. So I reached out to her with just like, I was just gonna call her on the phone and have her students like give her questions, and then it just turned into this. Like, thank you all for coming. Like, this was so sweet, and I think it meant a lot to the kids.
It was great.
That was
they
such a great
loved
idea.
it. Yeah, the kids loved it. You don't realize how much they look up to people like us. I know we probably don't realize that because, like, you know, we're everyday people, but I think they just love being a part of that stuff. And I think it's so great to motivate them and keep them excited about something.
For sure.
You know, especially that age. It's such a good age.
Then they'll be talking about it for a while. They called my class. When are we calling
Right,
Victor's
right.
class, Rodolfo? Great to see you guys.
Thank
You too, Sarah. I'm glad you hopped on.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
I miss you all
Talk
so much.
soon.
That was so much fun.
Oh man, we'll have to have
Hannah,
another
great
Zoom call
job.
some other time.
Yeah, please, let's make it happen.
Hannah, you do a Zoom call. Get us all together with Andrew because we got lots of questions for him.
Okay, I recorded this, so I have this. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna edit out that part that he said stays between us, but then I'll
Right.
post it so everyone can like have it.
Okay.
That's awesome.
We can
All
keep it.
I love it.
All right.
Thank you
Bye,
so much.
guys.
Bye.
Be well.